you probably know, the University of Toronto is one of Canada's oldest universities, dating back over 180 years. As you can imagine, being such an established university, we have a lot of very interesting stories and traditions that have evolved over the decades.
Some of the best traditions at the University of Toronto can be found from the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering. We'll be talking about the coolest traditions here at U of T Engineering, and the first one we're going to talk about is the word school.
Chances are you've probably heard the term school. Of course you have, you're on school space right now. But do you know where the term came from? Sit back and relax while I tell you the story of the word school. The Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering officially got its start at U of T in 1873. But at that time, our faculty was called the School of Practical Science, which was housed inside a single small red brick building. Students taking classes here began referring to the School of Practical Science as the Little Red Schoolhouse. Soon, the students started calling it school. Even after the Little Red Schoolhouse was demolished and the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering replaced the School of Practical Science, students continued to call their place of study school. Only for some reason, instead of spelling it S-C-H-O-O-L, the students began spelling it S-K-U-L-E. Why? We're not completely certain. Some claim that school is the metric spelling of the word, while others just think that the word came about because engineers have a reputation as being bad spellers. Either way, school represents more than just the physical faculty, but also represents the spirit of engineering students here at U of T.
Naturally, a faculty with such a great history also needs a great mascot. Let me tell you a little bit about the mighty school cannon. In the early 1900s, a small cannon began to make appearances at school events. It took some time for the engineering students to build a cannon that was portable, yet packed a loud punch. After much tweaking and design modification, the engineering students built a cannon they were proud of. The cannon soon came to represent engineering students at sporting events, school activities, and the like. This high-profile mascot caught the eye of other colleges within U of T, and a series of cannon thefts occurred. Even other universities began to try to steal the cannon from the engineering students at U of T. One such theft actually took a cannon retrieval team to England to get their beloved cannon back. Soon the cannon began traveling with a dedicated group of engineering students called the Cannon Guard, whose duty it was to protect the cannon from harm. Shrouded in great secrecy, each year, one student is made the chief atelier of the cannon. The identity of this student is kept secret. To this day, the cannon only makes appearances at an event when surrounded by the Cannon Guard, who dress in black uniforms. The history of the cannon is documented in a short movie called Smoke and Thunder, the story of the mighty cannon. I have a copy right here. It was written, directed, and produced by U of T engineering students. The cannon is such an important part to U of T engineering that we've even named our newspaper after it. You can find copies of it all over campus, and you can even write for it, even if you're just in first year.
You may notice that some people wear a tiny metal band on their pinky finger, like this one. This is the iron ring, and it's a tradition that also started here in engineering at the University of Toronto. One of the greatest known engineering traditions is the iron ring ceremony. The history behind this ceremony dates back to the 1920s, where, during a famous meeting of engineers, it was suggested that something was needed to bind all members of the engineering profession in Canada more closely together and to develop a statement of ethics to which a young graduate in engineering could subscribe. 3 years later, the first iron ring ceremony was born and held in 1925 at the University of Toronto. Rumor has it that the rings were created from the remains of the Quebec Bridge, whose 1,800-foot cantilever structure collapsed in 1907. Hence, the rings serve as a reminder to engineers that they play a vital role in the safety and well-being of the people within society. Engineers wear their iron ring as a sign of the obligation that they've given to the profession of engineering. Engineers wear the iron ring on the pinky finger of their working hand so that when they're signing their engineering documents, they can hear the ring tapping against the paper, and it will remind them of the ethics and the obligation that they are giving to their profession.
One of the great things about coming to U of T Engineering is that you'll get a chance to be a part of these great traditions that we just talked about. Also, you'll get to create your own traditions that will be passed on to the next generation of engineering students.
We hope to see you in September, where you can learn about all the rest of our great engineering traditions and also help create new engineering traditions for tomorrow. See ya!
Bye!